Fair use disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. The copyright laws of the United States recognize a fair use of copyrighted content. Section 107 of the United States Copyright Act states, notwithstanding provisions of sections 106 and 106A, the fair use of the copyrighted work includes such use by reproduction of copies, phonorecords, or by any other means specified by that section for a purpose such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachings, scholarship, research, is not an infringement of copyright. Copyright disclaimer, fair use.
China is spearheading large-scale multinational naval wargames alongside Russia and South Africa, precisely as their increasingly strained bilateral ties with the United States confront fresh and mounting geopolitical tests across multiple global flashpoints. Naval forces from these three nations have dramatically launched a highly coordinated multinational maritime exercise unfolding right near one of the world's absolutely most critical and heavily trafficked international shipping routes connecting East and West. Dubbed Will for Peace 2026, this expansive joint naval exercise is actively being conducted from January 9 through 16 in the strategically vital waters surrounding South Africa's Simon's Town Naval Base and the picturesque yet geopolitically crucial False Bay area. Military spokespersons describe the week-long exercise as a collaborative multinational action specifically designed both to secure vital international sea lanes of communication and simultaneously build desperately needed operational capacity for comprehensive maritime security throughout the turbulent region. However, seasoned defense analysts and strategic experts closely monitoring the drills assert that the unprecedented scale, sophisticated composition, and pointed multinational makeup of participating forces clearly suggest delivery of a much broader and more ominous strategic message aimed directly at Western capitals. Given this exercise's precise coastal location immediately adjacent to the Cape Sea route, which serves as the critical alternative pathway for global shipping should access to the Red Sea become completely disrupted by Houthi attacks or other maritime disruptions. Visual confirmation from on-scene maritime tracking and independent observers clearly showed two heavily armed Chinese warships, joined by a menacing Iranian naval vessel and Russia's battle-tested corvette Stoichi, all conducting complex joint maneuvers in close formation. China's People's Liberation Army Navy has prominently deployed its cutting-edge guided missile destroyer Tongshen, along with a massive replenishment oiler ship Taihu, both representing Beijing's rapidly expanding blue water naval power projection capabilities far from home waters. The formidable Tongshen, measuring 161 meters in length and bristling with advanced vertically launched missiles and radar systems, was positively identified among China's major frontline contributions to this provocative multinational naval exercise off Africa's southern tip. South Africa's controversial decision to host and actively participate in this multinational naval drill has triggered explosive internal political divisions within the nation's fractious coalition government, alongside generating strong and sustained international scrutiny from uneasy Western partners. South Africa's primary opposition Democratic Alliance has issued stark public warnings that the country's long-cherished constitutional neutrality on global conflicts is actively being systematically eroded through these unilateral defense engagements with America's primary strategic adversaries. Meanwhile, the United States government has explicitly linked South Africa's deepening military engagements with Russia and China to much broader and potentially severe diplomatic consequences rippling across trade, investment, and security cooperation portfolios. President Donald Trump has already publicly blamed Pretoria's consistent diplomatic support for designated bad actors like Russia and Iran as the primary trigger justifying America's sharp reduction in bilateral foreign aid and development assistance flowing to South Africa. These pointed American accusations specifically included a controversial 2023 incident during which Western intelligence alleged that a sanctioned Russian cargo ship covertly loaded prohibited weapons and ammunition at South Africa's Simon's Town naval facility under cover of logistical support operations. Iran's confirmed participation in these sensitive naval exercises, first reported and subsequently verified by CTV News, has undeniably added yet another volatile layer of geopolitical tension surrounding an already controversial multinational military undertaking. Currently, Iran finds itself engulfed by major and rapidly escalating domestic political tensions as massive street protests continue raging against the Islamic Republic regime amid brutal crackdowns, economic collapse, and revolutionary chants filling city squares nationwide. President Trump is reportedly actively weighing a broad spectrum of forceful military intervention options in direct response to mounting credible reports documenting Iran's ongoing deadly crackdown systematically targeting defenseless economic protesters morphed into regime change revolutionaries.
The U.S. military is on the move. Heavy transport aircraft are crossing continents. Aircraft carriers are shifting theaters, and the Middle East is once again at the center of global tension. Welcome back. Right now, the Pentagon is making some of its most visible force movements in months, and every detail is being tracked in real time by analysts and open-source intelligence watchers. Over the past several days, U.S. Air Force C-17 Globemaster III aircraft, among the largest military transport planes in the world, have been flying non-stop toward the Middle East. These aircraft are designed for rapid power projection. They don't carry passengers, they carry troops, armored vehicles, missile systems, ammunition, and helicopters. Flight tracking data shows multiple C-17s moving along familiar military corridors, from U.S. bases to European staging hubs like Germany and the UK, and onward to key Middle East locations including Qatar, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and other forward operating bases. Some aircraft have also been linked to flights toward Diego Garcia, a highly strategic U.S. base used to support long-range bomber and strike operations. Military observers say the volume and coordination of these flights suggests more than routine cargo runs. The C-17 movements are not happening alone. Reports indicate that C-5 Galaxy Super Heavy Transport planes, along with KC-135 and KC-46 aerial refueling tankers, are also active, a critical enabler for sustained operations. At sea, the Pentagon has redeployed U.S. aircraft carrier strike groups from the South China Sea to the Middle East. According to reports, USS Abraham Lincoln and USS George Washington are now operating within the U.S. Central Command area of responsibility. An aircraft carrier brings dozens of fighter jets, electronic warfare aircraft, surveillance platforms, and escort warships, essentially a floating airbase capable of launching strikes around the clock. This kind of naval shift represents a major strategic reallocation of U.S. military power. Adding to the picture, some personnel at major U.S. bases in the region, including Al Udeid Air Base, the largest U.S. military facility in the Middle East, were advised to temporarily leave as a precaution. Such moves typically signal concern over potential retaliation, missile threats, or regional escalation.
Countdown begins for U.S. military strike on Iran. IRGC sounds chilling alarm bells. U.S. troops and officials spotted in a secret place in Qatar. One misfire and boom. The Middle East is set to explode like never before. Iran's feared Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has issued a chilling new threat against U.S. forces as regional tensions boil over. An IRGC-linked Telegram channel claims it has pinpointed the exact location where American commanders are hiding in Qatar. According to the Post, senior officers from U.S. Central Command quietly evacuated Al Udeid Air Base and relocated to a luxury hotel in downtown Doha. The warning is blunt and menacing. Even five-star walls offer no shelter. The message signals that U.S. personnel remain firmly in Tehran's crosshairs wherever they run. In a direct threat, the message declares that the so-called relocation of commanders and officers and what it calls a transferred operations room will not shield U.S. forces from what it describes as a decisive and forceful response if Iran is attacked.
I read the book of Zechariah chapter 13, verses 8 and 9, and it reads, "And it shall come to pass that in all the land, said the Most High, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein." Verse 9, "And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name. I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my God." First, I want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the mighty men, the elders, and the apostles in the community, waking up the lost sheep, the house of Israel in these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth and humbleness and sincerity. Again, I'm going to say shalom. It's your brother Yahsai Pranesh on a video, and we're going to get right to it. We're going to go into the video post. Okay, YouTube fair use on these videos. So they love to strike my work. But it's getting hot with America headed back to Iran by way of these warships, as you guys seen in the opening, right? You have it, which appears to be a Greenland deal that's not working the way the administration wants. We've been hearing the hype with Trump overthrowing Greenland, but now there's this big security barrier. I mean, it compromises Article 5, as I did in the last video. And now that's not happening as fast as this administration would like. And now it appears he's going to take his frustrations out with Iran. But this is the problem if the president pursues Iran. First and foremost, they're going to finish off the, remember the, what's this thing called, the 12-Day War? That's going to be reenacted, and it won't be some old school drones that was going towards Tel Aviv. Now remember, before that 12-Day War ended, Iran started using some hypersonics that went straight through their so-called Iron Dome defense. It was completely compromised. So you would have to anticipate that, and probably the overthrow of the Israeli regime. So that would trigger that, and they would shut down. So when America bombed those facilities, Iran had threatened to block the Straits of Hormuz. That's another condition that could pan out, because if the Straits of Hormuz get shut down, this American economy, okay, excuse me, the United States economy actually not just the United States economy, the global economy was shut down instantly. So we're living in the end. Let me see if they're post. Let's see. Let's check some notifications. We got this. I don't know why they keep hyping up this winter storm. If you live on the East Coast, we get blizzards every year. So we have a big storm. They're blowing that thing way out of proportion. That's due to hit this region within the next 24 hours. I'm going to read out the end time headlines. And it says, this is 3 o'clock p.m. yesterday. It's 11:48 p.m. Eastern time. End time headline article says, Trump wants NATO to help with the United States border, suggesting that the United States should invoke Article 5. This thing is over, man. Y'all notice on a lot of my videos as of late, I keep bringing up Revelation 17. And a lot of the camps, community, okay, on YouTube and social media, we're all collectively resurfacing Revelation the 17th chapter. If Revelation 17 manifests, we're out of here. Okay, I'm gonna read that again. Trump wants NATO to help with the United States border, suggesting the United States should invoke Article 5. And that's what this whole Greenland ordeal, but they're up in arms, they're in defense, Canada, EU, NATO. It's a lot of conflict now because of this takeover of Greenland. Now he says he's not using military force, but can you really take him at face value? We'll see. There was another one I want to share with you guys. Coming out of the end time headlines. This was an hour ago. It says, international airlines canceling flights to Middle East destinations, including Israel, amid Iran tensions. I'm going to read it again. End time headline reports. International airlines canceling flights to Middle East destinations, including Israel, amid Iran tensions. I'm going to tell you something. You look at the videos with the battleships making moves towards Iran. Didn't they do this before they overthrew Maduro? Or kidnapped Maduro, should I say, and his wife? They brought the fleets in, right? And ultimately, they made a move. But this is going to be different. Should the United States attack Iran this time, what's left of this Babylonian life America offers, that's going to shut down. And it'll be indefinite this time. So it's a lot happening, but from the looks of things, while they're trying to bring in their AI way of life, this, digital that, the Most High is definitely going to get between it. Right? See if there's any notifications that I left out before There's another one. End time headline reports massive military buildup happening in the Middle East continues, including what Trump describes as a big flotilla. I think that's the name of the mission. Okay? This is massive military buildup happening in the Middle East continues, including what Trump describes as big flotilla. I believe that's the name of his mission. So you gotta check this out. If he's going through with this, I mean, it's January. It's kind of the tail end of January. We're like January 22nd, 23rd, somewhere around there. It's the 23rd. Remember, June into July brings in 250. But technically, the argument for 250 is already at hand. I've been saying this over and over. Countries that get into that 250 period, prophetically, according to the oracle, they come down. I've shared that in Daniel's too, right? So without further ado, one last thing. The Iranian, I believe, the Iranian professor, he definitely had his take on what would happen in the event the United States tried to attack Iran.
Your government and the US government, if they get involved in a war with Iran, global economy will go downhill and collapse. And
Professor,
your people will come after you and say, why did you do this to us?
Professor Mohammed Morandi, thank you very much for joining us.
He has a short take, right? But at the end of the day, the nations are going to mount up to prophetically overthrow America. But what the nation's not prepared for is the coming of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. Let's get that. Let's revisit the book of Joel. Actually, let's get the book of... Actually, let's do Joel first. I'm sorry. Give me a minute. Shalom to the 12 tribes of the children of Israel scattered abroad. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Once I get it. I want the book of Joel, the 3rd chapter. Y'all know what I want once I find it. Me can't find it here. Let me try the mini sword. Maybe I could get it faster. Yeah, the battle of Armageddon is setting up, family. I want Joel 3 once I get it. There we go. Joel 3 and 1 from the top. It says, for behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. And when it says, bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, that's talking about the end of the captivity. Okay? Slack it. I'm sorry. Because we're at the end of our captivity. And, we're all praying for that exodus, okay? It says in verse 2, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And that scattering is dealing with the people of the diaspora. That's the children of Israel. That's the 12 tribes that are scattered to the 4 corners of the earth. Okay? That's who salvation's coming to in these very last days. Let's get Obadiah. Let's get Obadiah 1. Okay? Try to make it short. Let's get Obadiah. Let's read the book of Obadiah. Here we go. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 15. And it says, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Because they're thinking once they overthrow America, they're just going to continue to run the world as they see fit. Not considering Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and the host of heaven, okay? They're coming to clean this place up. And we're praying for that. Okay, let's read Matthew's, the 24th chapter. It'll be short. Okay. Let's get Matthew's 24. Let's get the classic. Matthew's, I want 24, and I believe that's verse 30. Is it 29? Give me a minute. No, that's 23. Matthew's 24 and verse 30. We're going to read I'm going to start at 27. It says, "For as lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even into the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will be the eagles be gathered together." Verse 29, "Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the power of the heavens shall be shaken." That's going into the nuclear destruction, okay? This nuclear war that's going to besiege America. Because when you read Revelation 17 chapter, the nations are going to turn on America. And it says they shall hate the whore and burn her. Okay, paraphrasing. They're going to burn this place away. Okay. Let's read verse 30. Matthew 24 and 30, and it says, "And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Heaven," from the top. "And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory." Okay? Because that's the part the nations aren't anticipating. If you go to YouTube channels, you listen to Scott Ritter, okay, all these ex-military guys giving you their breakdown, okay, Colonel McGregor, they're telling you what's going to happen after they feel America's be thrown, Israel's be thrown. They're not telling you, okay, this current kingdom is at an end, okay. Let's read Matthew 24 and 31. It says, "And he shall send his angels with the great sound of the trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect." That's dealing with the 144 in the remnant body. So I open up with Zechariah 13, 8 and 9. Okay. It says, "He shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other." Okay. And the elect's going to be saved in these last days. Okay. That's what's going to happen. And that's what we are praying for as that day gets closer and closer. But before I wind down, okay, because I try to keep my videos minimum. I don't want to do long videos. Because when you do these videos, you have to prepare them, and that could be timely. Let's go back to Zechariah 13 and 8. Zechariah 13 and 8, because judgment is going to happen to Israel, okay? A lot of judgment's going to hit Israel too, okay? Mainly two parts Israel, but even believing Israelites. I'm going to go into that. Zechariah 13 and 8, again, from the top. It says, "And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Most High, two parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein." Okay? Because when the judgment day happens, okay, a great multitude of unbelieving Israelites is going to die on this side. Okay? They're going to be destroyed in a nuclear holocaust when these big bombs overthrow the United States. Okay? Verse 9, again, it says, "And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my God." Okay? Now I went back because the fire is twofold. For believing Israelites, is dealing with hardships, okay, troubling times, okay, and that could go a lot of areas. It could be family, like I use myself for example right now. Mommy's sick. Mommy's going through severe recovery, and it's one of those things we know if she's going to make it. But that could be the case for a lot of us, right? On top of that, job drama, trial drama, okay, all types of stuff that's going on, and we're going to be tried, okay? But we have to endure to the end, as the Matthew 24 account says. We have to endure. We can't fold. It can be very stressful, okay? Mommy's not doing too well. It's one of those you don't know moments. But even in the event of loss, God forbid, I can't let that position take me away from serving the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, And that's the message, okay? If you going through a hardship, potential loss of a loved one, you don't know, you can't let your emotions overthrow doing this work, man. Because when that trumpet sound, you better pray the Lord beam you up and take you into the other side, okay? You can't even put your family before the Lord. The Most High come first. Take it from a 13 student teacher in Marshall Yashala. We are getting very close to going home. World War III, Armageddon, okay? The judgments. We right there, family. That's why I resurfaced that. And for all Israel that's going through it, keep the commandments. Praise the Most High of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob while the Most High continue to take this place down. But before I end it, I need the Apocrypha. I want I want Second Esdras. I said Zephaniah. I want the book of Second Esdras. I think I want the 9th chapter. We're going to end it here. Okay. And it's been difficult. A lot of drama, a lot of heartache and concern, but we got to hang in there, man. Second Esdras, chapter 9, and verse... We're going to start at verse... Let me see. I want Second Esdras 9 and verse... We're going to read verse 5 and read down, and I'm going to end it. You know what? I'm going to start from 1, and I'm going to end it here. I'm going to end it, I guess, around verse 6. Second Esdras 9 and 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the times diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, okay, kind of like those Iranian protests and whatnot, it says, verse 4, then shall thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Verse 5, for like as all that is made in the world had a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings, in wonders, and powerful works, and endings, in effects and signs. And I mentioned in the video or two past, the Lord give us the warning signs. I'll never tell y'all it's going to be this year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years. I don't know. But the Lord even tell you in Second Esdras, the 9th chapter, the signs. And according to these signs, I'm hopeful. But while we wait, we have to labor and do this work. until the day of the Lord's vengeance and deliverance of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. With that, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the mighty men, the elders, and the apostles in the community, waking up the lost sheep of the house of Israel in these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth and humbleness and sincerity. Israel, I love y'all. We got next. Shalom, family.